December 29th, 2021. Had a comment on one of my videos that was wondering why we don't shoot all year round here, and this would be one of them. 4.1 degrees Fahrenheit, temperatures going down, and it's going to get lower than that in the next few days. In fact, we won't see temperatures above freezing probably for 2, 3, maybe 3.5 months. So I believe I'm going outside now and take a look at the shooting shed and range before it gets any colder. Yep, the longer you watch it, the lower it gets. I better get myself outside. Well, here's kind of a view of the outside. There's some good news about this. One of those sets of tracks belongs to a UPS truck. Made a delivery yesterday evening around 5:30, so we're going to have a look at that. Well, here's a box the UPS dropped off. We're going to have a look inside that and see what's in it, but we're going to go outside first and take a look at our shooting shed area. Yeah, here's our situation that we've got. I think I'm going to go around the other way. That drift looks a little heavy. I suppose some are wondering why we just don't use the indoor range here in the wintertime, but we got HEPA filters in that range, local range here, and they don't care much for black powder. You shoot about 3 shots, and next thing you know, somebody will revoke your membership and maybe even ask you to pay for the new HEPA filters. Not a good deal. And here's what we got on the range this morning. Not a lot of wind blowing, but repurposed our shooting shed here to store a tractor. Just not good in chopper mitts trying to load the black powder guns. We have to do quite a bit of work in here to get this ready to shoot. Should do what my neighbor did. He took his garage and cut a hole in the side of the wall and heated garage, and he's shooting out of there. Problem is I spend most of my money buying supplies and black powder guns and can't afford a garage. We're too dumb to build one. We got some sheds here, but it takes quite a bit of renovation to get those to work. So anyway, let's go back inside and take a look and see what's inside that UPS box. Gets me wondering why they use such a big box here just for one gun. Well, we got part kits inside. Okay, a couple of hammer spring kits. Good stuff for the 5161s. You're needing those things if you make any modifications or something just broke. Okay, we sorted through the boxes here and found the one that we're interested in looking at today. It's an 1858 Remington steel, 36 caliber and 6.5 inch barrel. Well, this is Pietta's version of the 1858 Remington in a 36 caliber, and these are referred to as the Navy model. I'm kind of interested in looking at this thing for a couple of reasons. I was thinking of actually getting a Uberti at one time, and it was a little pricier, and I didn't have the dollars at that time. Uberti makes theirs, I think, in an 8 inch, and this is a 6.5. I saw a review on this gun, and one of the things I'm interested in seeing whether or not it actually has a dovetail on the front sight. In other words, it's possibly windage adjustable. Well, it looks like a really nice overall appearance we're looking at first. That's what we're seeing. Okay, Pietta has made that. Right there, what we've got. Dovetail on the front sight. High post sight and a dovetail. So that's really good news to me, because we now have windage adjustable. We can always take elevation. We can take some off. That looks like it's plenty high. Glad to see that they did that, and you can see them get a close-up of that. See how that is actually dovetailed in there, so we have the option of moving that a little bit if we need to. So I was saying there's a couple things I'm definitely interested in on it. The second would be the twist rate in the barrel, because Pietta's normally done about a 1 in 30 on their 36 calibers, and they also do a 1 in 30 on some of their 44s. The Remingtons, however, they're doing a 1 in 16 twist on the 44s, and I'm not sure, maybe they've done that with this one. I'd kind of like to see a 36 caliber in a faster twist than the 1 in 30. So that way I'll check that out. And other thing I'm noticing here is that this cylinder lockup, it is really tight. I'm getting just about no movement there at all on that. And I'm also seeing very little, if any, light between the barrel and the cylinder here as I'm looking down that. So tolerances are just plain excellent on this. Excellent on this thing. Let's bring it to the half cock position and see if we can drop the cylinder out on it. There we go. And next thing would be a twist rate. What I'm going to do is use some white material here. I don't have a bore light handy. Look down there. Oh, they're stuck with their 1 in 30. It's not a fast twist, so not saying that's disappointing, but I was kind of hoping maybe that would be a faster twist. So well, I've got that cylinder out. Let's check it with more or less of a standard 1851 36 caliber Navy, and we can see right off that there's quite a difference in length. We should be able to get more powder in these things, especially if we're going to run a conical, let's say, in those chambers. And let's just see what we got for a height difference, or length of the powder. I'm at a 1.266. I do that right, and I measure this one 1.048. Let's go back to our Remington, and 1.255. Let's zero that and go down on this one. I'm getting a 0.212, so about 200 thousandths more height to that Remington, which is going to allow for more powder or different type of projectile. Another thing you might want to check on here is the thickness out to the end of the cylinder here. And if I zero this one, go back and check that out, we're getting about 0.118, 118 thousandths. Double check again. This time we're getting 124, 122. I'll use that 122 as correct there. Let's zero that and go to our Navy. See what we get there. Close that down. About 36. 40. So about a thickness difference of almost 40 thousandths between the Remington here and the 51 Navy. And if we go across from one chamber to the next, zero out and see what we got that way. $136 thousandths on that. Let's tighten that up and see what we got. 134. And this one just slides down in there, 134. I'm thinking about the same distance there. So our main difference would be out to the edge of the cylinder. Across from one chamber to the next, 132. Not a lot of difference there, but definitely this fellow here is going to be able to definitely take more powder, and should be able to take the extra pressure too with that extra thickness. Before we slide the cylinder back in, we're going to check our trigger pull on this and see what we got for a weight. I've got a gauge over here, and we'll slide that back to zero and pull this and see when that goes off. Kind of keep our fingers out of the way, we don't get schmucked there. Okay, that's got a tougher one. I'd like to see around 3 pounds, but I think this one is more like 5 to 6. Well, we've hit 4 and it hasn't gone off yet. got it. Oh, 4.5 to 5. It'll be a little heavy for like target work, but for field work should be just fine. And that might actually go down some of its use. It's got some kind of a creep to it. One more time there. Yeah, I'm feeling quite a bit of creep on that actually. Take up quite a bit before it actually goes off. Let's set the gauge on her one more time. Okay, that went off at 4 pounds this time. Let's do one more. Okay, see, it does have some creep. And it's not always a bad thing, but get used to it. Yeah, 4 pounds both times. So 4 pounds is right in that decent range, I feel. So let's get our cylinder back in the gun. When the hammer's in a half cock position, you've got that hand that's trying to rotate the cylinder in that position, which makes it pretty tough to slide your cylinder in. You can get it out sometimes easier, but going back in can be kind of tricky, especially when you haven't got a lot to play with here. Very tight tolerances in there. So what we're going to do is lower that hammer and then work our cylinder in next from there. Okay, so when you lower the hammer, you get a couple other issues coming up. One is the bolt down there lock the cylinder, and that'll come up on you. You're definitely not going to get it in with that there. And also the hammer's coming back in their position. So what you're going to have to do on this is bring that hammer back so that clears, and then far enough so the bolt comes down like there, and then you can just see that hand starting to come up at that point. So somewhere in that position is where we can try to work our cylinder in. You got to mess with these things a little bit, and not always that easy to get back in when they're that tight on the tolerances go. So I'm gearing that hammer back just a little bit. I'm going to try to get this cylinder come in from my side. Then I'm going to see if I can't lower the hammer a little bit to get that bolt to engage in one of its notches. That's sitting in there pretty good. And then, if we're lucky, yeah, there we got our cylinder pin goes in. We did it. So as far as functioning goes, really decent. Machining looks to be excellent on this gun. With the metal fit here on the grip is really decent. Not seeing any large gaps or nothing there. I like the way this is put together. And the brass is pretty well shined up. So I'm really happy with this gun, and once we get the initial oil off her and things, she should be ready to shoot.